Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to be making stable door. So yeah, we've got some spelly in, we picked up this morning, and yeah, we're going to be making this for a customer. So let's get into it. So that's interesting, that. At the end of most timbers, when you come to cut them, come to work on the workshop, it comes from the drying out process. You get splits at the end, shakes and splits. So if I apply a bit of pressure on that, it's going to break. Maybe it's not going to break. This one will definitely break. You see where it's painted on the end. Cracks come through it. I'd seen them in the timber yard when I picked it up, so I knew it were there, but sometimes they're a bit harder to see. But if I apply a bit of pressure on there, they'll break. So you definitely don't want that defect in your timber boards. These are the boards for the doors. It's not just the boards for the doors, it's in anything we do. We always check the ends of the timbers when we come to cut. That's why we allow a bit of waste on the ends. Hence why we've got a healthy firewood pile, which is where that's going. So that's our pile of wood ready to go through the rip saw. And then after the rip saw, we're onto the planer. So yeah, we'll have some timbers. We've got some other stuff to do today as well, so I'm not going to be solely on this door. But we should be somewhere near by the end of the day to be more centennial. Just just to let you know that it's 12 o'clock right now. In fact, it's 12:30. So I've been on other stuff this morning, so I've not been on this all day. Right, let's crack on for a little bit. Right, so we're going to put this lot through the rip saw. So what we've got here is, you saw me cut it up before, so what we've got here is the stiles, the rails, top, middle, bottom, because of course it's a stable door, and the T&G boards, which is the inch stuff at the front. There for the bottom panel of the stable door. The guys to be in and out, they're cutting some stuff, they're working next door on site. Quite handy really, because it's the side of the workshop. But yeah, so I'm going to set the camera up now, get this through the saw, and then get planing. Right, what we'll do now is we'll put this through the planer, but the worst job in the whole of the workshop has to be done. Yeah, extractor bags need changing. The full. So, oh yeah, I've got a Vaseline around my face if anyone wonders what it is. I've had a cold, feel a bit under the weather today still, but you know what it's like, you gotta carry on. Right, get these bags changed. You need them. I get these bags outside. Yeah, we store them outside. Just to give you a bit of understanding of what I'm doing and what I'm looking for when I'm looking down the edge of the timber. I'm looking to see if it's straight and which way the grain's running. So you want to be planing against the curve, the timber, so the timber wants to be curved down to the bed. So you might just be able to see the slight, ever so slight curve there. And then if you go down to the edge of the timber, you can see the curve there. You can also see which way the grain's running. So that's what I'm looking for. Because if you plane against the grain, what you get is a lot of spelching. It's where the grain flicks and pulls and it looks really, really untidy, unsightly. Still got this cold lingering. So then you're playing with the grain and you're playing against the curve. So you leave a nice flat surface that's clean of any imperfections caused from the planing process. I'll do the same with all that, and then when we come to thicknessing, exactly the same process, but the curve should have been taken out. So you've got a flatter section that runs on the bottom bed, the planer. I'll explain in a bit when I get to that point, but yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Right, I'll let you watch the rest of me planing. So right, we're going to set up the thicknesser and run them through the underside of the planer, thicknessing, because of course we've just done the surfacing. So that's surface planing, thicknessing planing. So again, the same idea is used. You want to plane so it's cutting against any curve or arch in this case, but also is you want to be going with the grain, not against the grain. If you're going against the grain, all this grain will flick up. So a lot of the grain in this type of hardwood is interlocking, so inevitably you're going to get a bit of spelching. That's why it's important to keep your kit sharp. These blades, to be fair, are alright. Another week, 2 weeks tops, they're going to want changing. But they're alright for this run. There is a slight snip I've noticed when I'm planing. You can see it on that one there. I don't know whether I've just done that or whether it was there previously, but can be something like a staple on the end of the timber that you've missed. That's why I cut all the ends off on the cross cut, but that doesn't mean to say that I haven't got one that was in the edge of the timber, so we'll just have to run from the weaker side and we'll change them.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I put one foot on my face and I swear I won't give back up, cause I'm looking for everything and the road ahead is tough. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
To the workshop, see what these guys are up to. Doing some repair work to the Velux openings, Velux pop holes, starlights. So yeah, that's what they're up to. Right, okay, so I have set the spindle moulder. I've set the spindle moulder and we will get them through the spindle moulder. Right, let's give it a test first. Right, it's alright, good to go. Big roller in place, let's see what we can do with that. So that's the first rebate done, and that's for the boards. That's the bottom section of the door, so you can see there. That's going to take the boards, so the boards are flush. We put a V-joint on there. Right, I'm going to set up for the rebate on the top section of the door, and once we get that done, we'll come back and we'll start marking out for the mortise and tenons. Right, so we're going to mark out now the mortises on this stable door. So the easiest way to work out your lengths of each door, I mean on this scenario they're being split in half. So in height you knock off your sill. So I keep bits of old sills to measure off. In this case it's just over 20mm, so it's 22mm being knocked off for the sill, and then we're going to split the door. So you split the door in height, and then onto each door add on 8mm, and that allows for your 16mm rebate on the centre of your door. You can do this on a marking out rod if you want to visually see it. I've done it that many times now that you kind of get into the rhythm of what you're doing. So yeah, right, so I'm going to crack on now and get these marked out, and we're getting close to the end of the day now. What time are we on? So we're like heading towards 20 to 5 now, so yeah, another 10 minutes on here marking out, make sure everything's right, measure everything back up again, check as you should do, and yeah, we'll come back to this in the morning. Yeah, catch you in a bit. Right, so we are on the next day. First thing in the morning, done a bit, but yeah, the bit I've done is mortising. So I've cracked on and got these mortised out. I thought I may as well, and then fetch you back once I've got that done. So right, I'm going to cut my rails to size and then we'll get them tenoned. I'm just going to clean these mortises first. So once I've got them cleaned and I've got the tenons made, and then we'll start marking out for the haunches on the tenons. Yeah, I can mention a little bit more about that too. Yeah, right, let's crack on. Right, okay guys, so we've got our stiles mortised as you've already seen. We've created the tenons on the ends of the rails. Now we're going to mark out the haunches, mortises onto the tenons, and we're going to create wedge slots in the tenons. So just to give you a bit of information on about why we put haunches on tenons, most in tenon joints, it's to create a structural strength to the joint. It helps stop twist, but it also creates a larger surface area for glue, so you get a nice surface area fixture from the mortise to the tenon with the glue joint. Another thing as well is it keeps a bit more strength in the style, so you keep a bit more meat in the style. Stops any damage down the road. There are situations when we don't put haunches in, but for this door we definitely do. And the reason we use wedges on the tenons is to stop the joint coming apart, but it also creates where the tenon will touch the outside of the mortise to create the glue joint. When we get to that point, I'll show you a bit more about it, but essentially it creates a dovetail on the tenon, stops it coming apart, keeps it nice and tight on the joint, and creates the contact of surfaces with glue. So yes, alright, we're going to get on and mark out these tenons now. Not really a lot to watch, but you can watch me do it. Keep the doors in the sets. What we're doing here. So we'll mark out this one first. There's a bit left over from the tenon that wasn't taken out. Just pare that back. Grab a pencil out of my pocket amongst all the rest of the stuff in there. So I've just marked where the tenon is to the haunch. So now we can set the small set square down to the bottom of the haunch. Set that, and then we can just from there mark the depth and just follow that through. So what we essentially create is the haunch mark there, and then I'll cut on these two lines as well to create space for the wedges. So once the tenon's cut ready for the joint, it will have the look of them pencil lines cut out, and I'll show you a bit more of that shortly. So I'm going to carry on now, mark up the rest of these, and then we're going to go on to the bandsaw, which is behind the camera, and we'll get all them cut out. Right, let's get to it. Right, okay, so tenons all cut, and I've set up now the bandsaw to cut the wedges, so I'll set the camera up and we'll get these wedges cut, and then we're ready for gluing up really. All cut. Right, let's get set up for gluing up. There we are, set up, ready for gluing up. So I've got the stove warm, stove's on, so the temperature's up now in the workshop. So the glue we're going to use is PVA. So we use D4 PVA. I like it. I have used other stuff in the past. I've used Cascafen, Cascamite. I've used PU glue. I've used Titibon, which is American style of PVA. I've used all sorts, but I like the D4. It's made by Everbuild, and yeah, we don't really have any problems with it, so that's the main thing. Right, I'm going to set up the camera and I'm going to glue these up. Oh, before I do, I'll just show you. This is what I was talking about with the cuts in the tenons. The wedges get knocked in, and then these two sections here open up like a dovetail. This is where your haunch is here, and this is your tenon. So we'll build up the door now, and yeah, I'm only going to show one, because once you've seen one, you're not really bothered about seeing any more, are you? So in fact, I'll put it here. I'll put it here. No, I won't put it there. I'll put it here. Loads of PVA. Loads. Everyone does this bit, which is putting PVA in the mortise hole. I do, because I don't want any failures on any joints. Can hear the stove roaring behind me. So that's why you leave horns on your styles, so you can hit them with the hammer and not damage the door. I see so many people cut the horns off earlier than required. Looks like it wants to move that way a bit. That's better. Right. Always get your cramp parallel with your rail, or else you'll pull it out of square, and that's what you don't want. It's got warm in here now, so there it is, built up, and I'm about to put the wedges in now. So you can see now on the ends where the mortise is slightly wider than the lines. That there is what we call wedge room. So yeah, I'll show you while I knock a set of wedges in, and I'm gonna crack on then. So I'm going to have to put camera down a minute. I use my other hand for the hammer. Drive them home now, and then yeah, I'm going to put a camera down now and crack on. I'll show you when we're done. Door 2. So got the bottom half of the door glued up, and this is the top half. So on these I've got a different tenon, even though they're the same size rails, I've got a different tenon structure, and the reason I'm looking on the inside of the rebate so I've mortared to them, because the bottom of the door is going to get a rebate out of it, I've made a larger haunch, so I've mortared it with a star and then a star on the inside of the rebate, so then I don't get mixed up. They wouldn't go together anyway, but it's just to make my life easier. So we'll start and build up again. As tight as that. It's a snug fit. You can't go mad on the ends of tenons, you round them over and then they won't go on to the next rail style. So as you can see, I'm hitting on the outside of the style on both points, so any damage we can cut that off. So they're the horns. So when you hit it up tight, it just makes life easier on the cramps. So that's what we've done there. chisel just creates a bit of an opening on that slot because it's very tight. You always drive your outside wedging first, and then your inner wedge. Your inner wedges if it's a bottom rail. The reason for that is it keeps the rail tight to the marks on the door. Right, 2 more to do. Plenty of firewood.
Yeah.
Warmed up outside a bit, I think, isn't it?
A little bit. That's probably fit bin, isn't it? Put that there for now.
Something I do is I cut the wedges off now from the tenons. Saves anyone getting snagged on them. Keep everything clean. That'll do.
New frame for them stable, those. No, over.
Existing frame.
Existing, nice and straight.
Probably. Right. tidy up and then move on to the next job. Yeah, so I can't really touch the doors. That glue's going off overnight, so I'll get them sanded off tomorrow. So I'll get these boards made up and then they can go in tomorrow. Beaded top, reabate the door, and then we're ready for it to be fit. So yeah, right, let's see where we get to. Right guys, so the job's moved on a little bit now. We've got all the boards machined up, sanded up, cut to length, cut to size. We've sanded the doors up. That's the V-joint that we put on where the boards meet the stiles and the rails. So I'm going to go on now to fit the boards. So yeah, we'll come back when I've got them in, and you can see the job well, complete in the workshop, ready for installation, which will be next week. So I've got glass sizes to take today and send them off as well. So yeah, I'm only going to fit them, so I'll fetch you back. I'll fetch you back when I've got them fit, and then you can see them from there. So here it is. Door is finished. I'll just set it up. There it is. That's your stable door. Inward opening. Sit it up on its head, so then we don't damage the rebate on top, because the rebate has a draft strip in it. So that's it, finished, boarded. And then the top is a glazed top of the door. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you want to leave a comment, please do. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.